It's 15 GMT. We begin with breaking news out of Gaza, where at least 14 people have been killed in an attack on a school at the Nuseirat refugee camp. The UN-run school houses thousands of displaced Palestinians in central Gaza. 2 UNRWA staff members are among the dead. Dozens more have been injured. Israel says it was targeting a Hamas leadership compound. Israeli forces have been carrying out deadly attacks across the Gaza Strip since dawn. Let's go straight to our correspondent Tareq Azzoum, who's live from Deir el-Balah in central Gaza. Tareq, you've just been to the scene of that attack in the Nuseirat refugee camp. Tell us about what you saw and heard.
Well, basically, Foley, I've just returned from the site of the attack that the Israeli fighter jets have targeted al-Jaouni school, which is a UN-run evacuation center in Nuseirat refugee camp. Now, as from the first moment I entered the school, I just observed a tremendous amount of destruction, in fact, being inflicted to the place. Piles of rubble are scattered around the area. People are looking for anything in order to use it again after the destruction. I show the missile that had been stuck in the ground after the strike, where eyewitnesses have confirmed that at least 13 Palestinians have been confirmed killed in that strike, where people were waiting for food at the moment when the attack was carried out by the Israeli fighter jets. Also, those eyewitnesses confirmed that the strike has been carried out without any sort of warning, and basically this is not the only attack on evacuation centers, especially in a Nuseirat refugee camp. We are talking about 13 evacuation centres being targeted since July, which is absolutely a very soaring surge in terms of the numbers of evacuation centres being targeted by the Israeli fighter jets. And we need to remind our viewers that these areas have been told by the Israeli military for Palestinians to go there in order to seek refuge. And at the same time, Israel claims that it has been used as a command centres by Hamas fighters, but they did not provide any shred of evidence so far to prove their claims. And at the moment, the people there are experiencing really horrific and tremendous amount of shock that they are no longer can feel safe, even in UN-run shelters.
Indeed, we have heard that at least 2 UN employees, 2 UNRWA employees have been killed in this attack. The pictures that we're looking at on our screen right now are quite devastating. I mean, from the scene, it looks like there's still many people that could be buried under the rubble of those buildings there, Tareq. Talk to us about rescue efforts right now. How are those shaping up? Is it likely that there could be survivors from this attack?
Well, as soon as I got to that location, I was really shocked by the numbers of emergency workers who were looking for anyone is under the rubble. They have been digging using their bare hands due to the lack of civil equipment, and they have been confirming that they are struggling in order to find any survivor. The attack has caused a great deal of destruction. The emergency workers' search operations have come to an end. They have picked up more than 13 Palestinians being killed, with patches of casualties being transferred to both hospitals. But those emergency workers said that Israel is still upscaling its military strikes on all evacuation centres in the north and the central area and in the far south of the Strip. Even they have expressed their inner fear about their complete unsafe environment that are working inside in order to look for survivors.
Right. The Israeli army has issued a statement claiming that its forces targeted a Hamas command and control center. And as you've said, Tareq, it's not the first time that Israel has claimed this when they've targeted these civilian areas, and not the first time they've targeted Nuseirat refugee camp. Tell us more about this camp in particular and this area of Gaza.
A Nuseirat camp is a sort of a structure being in fact established in 1948 in order to host Palestinian refugees, and it's a very battered camp with huge numbers of houses being built in a very heavily built up neighborhoods. This camp has been under very relentless Israeli attacks since October the 7th. People have been killed in the homes and the evacuation centers, and even while they are sleeping without any sort of warning. The Nuseirat refugee camp is so adjacent adjacent to Nuseirat corridor, where its northern part has been completely under repeated Israeli attacks as a part of their ongoing operation to expand the Nuseirat corridor and to guarantee that there is no any sort of military threat could be imposed for the Israeli operating troops in Nuseirat area. And at the same time, families there have been repeatedly expressing their concerns about the possibility of the military incursion for Nuseirat refugee camp and to be split from other parts of the strip, which means that the lives of thousands of Palestinians will be at a really high risk, which means that those people are under relentless and constant threat of death. This is the grim reality there. Families even have been moving from the northern part of Gaza to Nuseirat after Gaza's wedding in order to find some sort of safety. But with the expansion of the Israeli military operations to the south, the entire strip has been the theater for the Israeli military operations.
Tareq, thank you very much for the update there on this latest Israeli attack on the al-Nuseirat refugee camp in central Gaza, where at least 14 people have been killed, including 2 UN employees. We will bring you the latest on this developing story when we have more information, of course, here on Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.